This video is going to show you how to make a landscape painting that has a large tree in front and some water going through it, and maybe mountains in the distance too. You can decide on that part. You are going to need a large piece of watercolor paper that is tall and skinny. If you look closely, notice that the watercolor paper has bumps. This is what lets it hold the paint well. You're going to need a cup of water, watercolor paints, a brush, a paper towel, and some tape. We're going to use the tape first, so you can set your paints and water to the side. And you are going to rip off a piece that is almost as long as the paper. You're going to put that piece of tape on your jeans or t-shirt or something that has lint to make it not so sticky. Okay? Then you're going to put one little piece down on the table, and you are going to take a pair of scissors. Oh, sorry, I forgot to say you needed scissors. You might have to pause right now to go get them. And you are going to cut about halfway down the tape, like that. If it accidentally rips, that's okay. You can just kind of tape it back together. It's tape. All right, now I'll have to move this so you can see up and down. I'm going to put the bottom of my tree up a little bit from the bottom, and then I want it to be on about a third. So you can decide if you want it on this side or this side. I wouldn't put it right in the middle. I would put it off a little bit to the side. Okay, then you are the two pieces that you cut are going to spread out just a little bit, and you can like angle them however you want, whatever you think looks good. I'm going to do mine like this. Then go ahead and press your tape down. You can see all the lint. And you won't take this tape off until tomorrow. That will stay for a while. Okay, now you're going to take your pencil, and about 2/3 of the way up the page, you're going to draw a horizon line. It can be bumpier or flatter, whatever you want. In the end, we don't want to be able to see it, so notice how I drew really lightly. Next, you're going to do some water. So you could either do a lake or a little pond, or you could do a stream. I'm going to do a stream, so I'm going to put a little tiny dot on the horizon line where I want it to go. And then I'm going to just kind of do some really easy winding lines. Make sure that the bottom of your tree is not inside the stream, okay? Next, you're going to draw a line that is mostly parallel. It'll slowly kind of follow the other line and then get further apart. Mine's going to just kind of go off the corner, I think. About like that. Okay, and then get it looking just the way you want. If you are wanting to do a pond, you don't want to do a big circle. All right, what you do want to do is sort of like a wrinkly hot dog, something that's kind of like this. A pond from the side is always flattened looking. It's only if we were a bird flying over top of a pond that it would look more round. Okay, I guess I'll just leave that. That way I can demonstrate how to do a pond also. Okay. All right, now we're not going to do any detail today. We are going to do the background. So we're going to do the sky and the water, and then we're going to let it dry a little bit, and then we'll do the land. And then before we do any more details, we'll let it dry 100%. So first we're going to do wet on wet for the sky. So hopefully you have already decided what season you want this to be and what time of day you want it to be. And whatever color you pick for the sky, you're also going to do in the water. If you think about it, people usually think of water as blue, but that's because the sky is blue. A glass of water is clear or brown or something, right? If you're in the mountains. So like if you are doing a sunset colors in the sky, you'll do sunset colors in your river also, okay? So let's first do the sky. So you are going to first coat the whole thing with water using your big brush. And you want to use enough so that it's all wet, but it doesn't puddle. So notice how I'm getting the whole sky wet all the way down to the horizon line. If I do mountains, I'll just kind of paint them over top. That's okay. All right, then I'm going to mix my sky color. I'm just going to do like a nice blue sky. And I'm going to have a little wadded piece of paper ready to do clouds. Okay, so now that I have my color made, I'm going to go straight across the top, and I'm going to keep doing horizontal lines until I get to the bottom, and it'll just slowly lighten. The sky is always darker at the top and lighter at the bottom. I don't know why. I'm sure there's a scientific reason that one of you could probably tell me. Okay. Then I'm not going to do a ton of clouds. Maybe I'll just kind of do one here. Maybe there's one kind of behind the tree. Maybe one right there. Just a few. But you can do what you want. Now, whatever color you did in your sky, you're going to use the same colors in whatever type of water you decided to draw. So, water always goes the direction the water's flowing. So I'm going to make my brush strokes go along the river. If I have a river, if I have a pond, they're all going to be horizontal. So first I'll fill it with water. Okay, then I'm going to draw little lines like this that should kind of spread out and get blurry since we're doing wet on wet in the water. And I'm going to just kind of do lots of them to make it look like there's water flowing and there's highlights and shadows in it. I like that a little better. Okay. Again, if you're doing a pond, you want all your brush strokes to be horizontal. Now, you're going to go take a 5-minute break. You could go outside and run to your mailbox and back while this is drying. All right, after you have let your painting sit for a bit and your sky and water are mostly dry, mine, like, there's a few spots that are still damp, but for the most part it's pretty dry. There's no like sitting water anymore. You're ready to do the ground in between. So remember, you're going to need some salt, so make sure you don't need this much, but make sure you've got like a teaspoon amount. And you're going to go ahead and mix up all of your ground colors, whatever you've decided on for your season. So I'm going to do just like summer colors, which is like bright greens and browns. After you have your colors mixed up, you are ready to start on the ground. We want it to just kind of look blurry and crumbly. So we are gonna first put water down. It's okay if you accidentally overlap it with the blue slightly, like I just did. And you wanna make sure any pencil lines are covered. You don't want those to show. So you could either erase them first or just make sure you cover them up. That's what I'm gonna do. And then you're going to do all horizontal lines. And you want it to look kind of blotchy on purpose, you know, because ground is never solid. It doesn't look like a computer printout. You want to just kind of mix all those colors together. So it's almost like camo or lobby looking. After you get one side done, then start doing your next chunk. After you have it all done and it's still wet, then you're going to take your salt and sprinkle it around. Okay. Another thing you can do, I forgot to say earlier, before you take your tape off, once this is mostly dry, it doesn't have to be 100%, is draw on some mountains. So I'm going to just really lightly with my pencil draw them on, and then I'll paint them in. Remember, you start with the foothills first. And mountains aren't super tall into the sky. They only go a little ways up usually. And for this demo, I'm going to do mountains on one side and trees on the other, because usually there's something on the landscape, either trees or hills and mountains. I'm going to use my littler paintbrush for this, and I think I'm going to make mine like a purpley blue. So I'll mix my color over here. Okay, now I'm ready. Now remember, each hill is darker on the bottom and lighter on the top. So I'm going to put my color kind of along the bottom of each hill. And then I'm going to go back with water to blend it upwards. So now I have just plain water on my brush, and I'm going to do a line of that across the top of the color to blend it up. Now you're going to let this dry overnight before you start your next step of taking off the salt and the tape.